Now. Every time my internet goes out, you know it means you get a Q&A, and my internet is out because recently I moved to Los Angeles. It's hot. Opening Up Midnight asks, when and where could I find more of your band Ace of Hearts album? The answer is that you can find my EP on most streaming platforms, and we have a new song coming out August 1st, and this is my favorite thing I've ever written. Rohan asks how I've been feeling and if there's anything the fans can do for me. First off, I'm doing fine, and second, nothing really. As long as you're watching the content, I don't really feel like I could ask for more. I guess just like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and if you have subscribed, just pressure your mom into subscribing. She has YouTube, right? When is the next sewer cut? Well, I am working towards the Galaxy Supercut. It's just taken me a little longer than I would have liked, but I've also gone back through old content and made Supercuts out of Sonic Mania, Crash Bandicoot, Cuphead, and I don't want to upload those all at once, so I'll probably just spread those out along the way. And if you guys have any other games that you think would do well on my channel in that kind of format, let me know, because I think that's the direction I want to go with my channel in the future. Can we get a supercut? Like, you just want like a 12-hour video of all the other supercuts just so you never have to leave that video? I mean, if that's what the people want, my wallet won't say no. Do you have games that you play for fun that wouldn't really make it into YouTube content? Typically JRPGs. I would say that's one of my favorite genres of games, but I don't really know how to transition those games into the highly edited content I make on my main channel. If you didn't know, Xenoblade is my absolute favorite game of all time, and with Definitive Edition, I tried to make content, but I didn't really feel like it stuck, so I dabbled, and here's a few clips of what it turned into. Ah, yes, at long last, the Xenoblade. See, it's just like the original. You get to accept side quests you know you won't do. It just warms my heart to see her. And the camera, you just have such control. Thank you, Guardian Master 79. Arrow asks a question, and that's a big step up from the previous one, and says, do I ever make content over certain games to just make people stop asking for it? And the answer is honestly no, because at the end of the day, my goal is to make good content, believe it or not. And if I'm just constantly giving into what people want, I don't have any heart or soul in it. So, you know, like there's a good balance of listening to what the people want and what you want to do, and I like to look at it as a Venn diagram, and that little sliver in the middle is exactly what every YouTuber should be doing. YouTubing, I've never heard it as a verb before, but it appears to be a job when you have to push yourself to make and edit content. How do you motivate yourself? Well, first off, you gotta enjoy it. I think this is a very passion-filled industry, and no matter how much you may sell out or anything like that, I don't think you could survive in this industry if you aren't passionate about it. Secondly, I think all I do is just do the things that are fun to me, and then it never really feels too bad. Whenever I start to feel like I'm about to get burnt out, usually I just take a step back, queue up backlogged content, and just play a JRPG, and by the time I beat that, I'm pretty much back to prime. What was it like when you saw your channel blew up? I don't know. I never really feel like I had that phenomenon because I just kept making content. I didn't really pay attention to numbers too much. Like, I study them, but they didn't consume me. Like, my channel has 2 million subs, and I know that's a lot, but I still don't feel like I've quote-unquote blown up. Like, I don't really know how to explain it because I don't think anyone can understand it unless you've been in the position, but it's really hard to gauge your success if it's you. Like, if I saw another channel who had 2 million subs, I'd be like, oh, wow, damn, that's a lot. That's a lot of subs. That's success right there. But when it's me, I can't really feel that. Like, I've said it before, and it really does feel like I'm just a shitter who has 40 followers on Twitter and tweets Megalovania. Do you enjoy making Alpharad Plus type of content or Alpharad content? It might sound crazy, but what if I told you both? Oh, we're just ripping all the band-aids off today, huh? Well, Megalovania, very funny. I've recently done a little comedy review, if you will. I went through all of my content, literally every single video on my channel, all 1,300 of them. Just kind of reviewing what I've done, where I've come from, and it was the most cathartic process I ever could have done. I highly suggest to any other content creator watching, or any musician, or just general artist to go back and review your content in the most personal way you can, because it made such a difference to me. I mean, hell, I watched over 100 episodes of Story for Glory. Everything I said in that series felt like an entire lifetime ago. And another thing I noticed is that the first forward aerial joke was made in January of 2017, and that made me realize, oh damn, I need to drop that shit. When I first started saying it, the joke was that there was no joke, it was just a repeatable, catchy phrase, and then people started repeating it because it was a repeatable, catchy phrase. And in response to everybody saying it, I kind of leaned into it more and started repeating it until I eventually became a little jaded, and then I started saying it condescendingly, but at the same time, it just doesn't matter. I still said it. But that's exactly what the interesting part about comedy is that there's a difference between impact and intent, and that's true for every interaction between humans. If I made this joke ironically and it was not received ironically, it doesn't matter, it's just unfunny. And I think that was an important lesson for me to learn, because I do think I innovated my comedy quite a bit, but I kind of use these repeated jokes as a crutch, and I don't think that's healthy, because I mean, hell, I even tweet Megalovania every single time I get drunk. But okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I tell 5 jokes every single day. And one of those jokes is always the same. You're going to remember the one joke I repeat, so that's why the repeated offenses stick out more than anything else, and that's why I just need to focus on moving forward. And again, even though I understand why it's funny, if you don't know the gimmick, it's just kinda cringy. However, I do tweet from sticky notes now, and that's not even funny, it's just kinda therapeutic. I like doing it because it's just kinda nice. But what I'm trying to say is that going forward, I really don't want to hold myself back from previous jokes and just shoving those jokes down people's throats until they start laughing at it. Am I going to do that on Alpharad Plus? Yeah, come on, what'd you expect me to say? But here, I put a little more heart into this channel, so I really just kind of want to make it the best I possibly can. So for the last time ever, forward Ariel. Why swear to my bones for your outro? I'll just be honest, that song moved me. Whenever I was playing Persona 5 and I heard it for the first time, I felt emotionally moved, and it just kind of stood out and captured the vibe of what I wanted my channel to be. It was kind of an emotional experience, so I can't really describe it anything more than that. It spoke to me. Do you have any trans friends? Yes, but I just like to call them my friends. In your recent video, you mentioned that you did something bad to your artist Nova. Yeah, I made him draw this. I can't even say this with a straight face. Is Corey in the house your face? Shut the fuck up. Will you do more drawing 6 characters? I'll be honest, I just thought that was gonna be a one-time thing, and then it was such a fun series, especially when I started doing it with Nova, so that can absolutely be a recurring series if people want more of it. Are you real, or are you just a bit by God? Wow, I really like that perspective of humanity, because aren't we all bits by God? Isn't this all just like some kind of setup for the punchline of, well, the apocalypse? Now that's comedy. What's your favorite color? It's blue. What's your favorite primary color? Red. Question. Do you ever get the feeling you're being watched? P.S. You better check your closet. Best question in this comment section. True. How do they get the stripes in Colgate toothpaste? Why does it not mix together when you squeeze? Oh my god. I'm gonna ask the question everybody wants the answer to. Who is best girl? It's Tifa Lockhart. Easy question. I'm just making sure, but you're married, right? I know you can get it, but do you have it? 2 things. 1, I would like to change the answer to my previous question in case Theo is watching. And second, yes, I am, and I don't really know what the latter half of your sentence says. It just kind of looks like you spanned the predictive text options. How did you meet Theo? Well, we dated for 2 weeks in the 8th grade, and I asked her if our song could be Yellow by Coldplay, and she publicly broke up with me on MySpace. And then 5 years later, we started dating again in college on a little higher stakes, and 4 years later, we got married. Alpharad, I got a question! How can you post about not having internet on the internet? Oh my god. You heard of cell phones, my dude? Alpharad, can you please spare some Mario Galaxy? Yeah, the next episode is done. I'll just upload it soon. If Ace of Hearts, my band by the way, blew up more than Alpharad, would you switch to music full time? I don't know. I think if it did blow up and I was making like equal amounts, I might explore it at least, but I don't think I could ever stop being Alpharad. I think even if it became 100 times more successful than YouTube, I would always still want to upload to Alpharad in some capacity, because it's just like, yes, I make a lot of money from this channel, but at the same time, it's still a passion project. That's how it started, and it still feels that way to me. Which, let's be real, I would not want it any other way. I love what I do. You know what I mean? What was your motivation for your EP, Monophobia? Depression. Has making music with Ace of Hearts had any toll on your mental health or wanting to create content? No, I think it's done quite the opposite. My whole life was unhealthy and obsessed with YouTube. I always wanted to create, and I had no social life or any personal life. Like, I was just a slave to the machine, and at the same time I loved making content, but I didn't realize how much happier I could be if I took a break and explored these other things that could make me happy. I don't want it to sound like I was depressed for 4 years making content, but I look back and I just don't think I realized that I was. I was having fun in the moment, but now I just look back on how many things I missed out. If anything, Ace of Hearts showed me that I can explore these other hobbies and still maintain YouTube. As you can tell, I've uploaded much less this year than I have in previous years, and that's just because I've been working on my mental health, and dude, I'm happy. I'm like good now. It's so crazy to wake up and like not dread, well, living. It's just, I started focusing on myself, started focusing on the people around me, and I'll be honest, therapy was a huge part of this. So if you have the means to therapy, I highly suggest it. The one tip I can give anyone is it's not as scary as you think, and the only way it will work is if you're honest with yourself, and you know what, that's the hardest part, I'll be real. But the reason things are good is because I tried, dude. I put in fucking effort to be happy. And you know what, god damn it, I'm so happy that I'm happy. I'm just happy that my effort paid off, and now I'm happy. And I wish the same for anyone who struggled with the same, because overcoming all of it, God, it just feels so good. Can you advertise for my channel? Why don't you post some of the Alpharad Plus stuff that looks good enough for the main channel? Short answer is I just think there are two separate channels, two completely separate entities, but two that still live in harmony. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Hey Alpharad, are you still reading these comments? Have you watched Legend of Korra? Yes, and I think that show slaps. Like, of course, Avatar is better, but I think Korra on its own, like, it holds up. That show's great. I got tons of comments asking when the Lightlock's coming back, so all I can say is, soon? I'm not gonna read all of this, but essentially Connor is saying, how do you keep putting out Smash content? I feel like it's dried out. And I don't know, for me the game is still fun, therefore if it's fun I keep making content, and if people keep watching it's probably because they think the game is fun and they think the videos are fun. I don't really think there's too much more of a science than that. This comment makes me feel like I'm in the principal's office, so why do you make such ... explicit references in your Mario Odyssey videos? Just to name a few examples: jerking off, glory holes, etc. If I could just defend this, I would just like to say that is just how I talk like a normal person. I am an absolute degenerate. I don't really think I'm referencing anything when I say glory holes. I just think I'm calling that a glory hole. When I point to Lord of the Rings, I'm not referencing the mere concept of a book. I know that's not really what your question's about, but I just felt like being an asshole. The real answer is, I saw something, it looked like a glory hole, made me think of a glory hole, so I called it a glory hole. That's kind of where the logic starts and ends. Furthermore, I will not pay for any hospital bills of any glory hole related incidents. How much do you think doing YouTube changed you, and in what ways? I think I'm a different person entirely than I was 5 years ago. I now am more responsible, but also I'm just 5 years older, you know? So it's kind of hard to tell which was just of age and which was because of YouTube. I think YouTube has made me much more introverted. I really like being to myself much more than I did, but also, is that because I'm older? I don't know. YouTube has made me much more scared to trust people because you never really know why people are talking to you. Are they talking to you because they enjoy your company and you have a mutual friendship, or is it because you have an arbitrarily large number by your name? And I'll be honest, it's not very easy to tell from people. Sometimes you don't find out till months into a friendship, and then it's just kind of heartbreaking when you have to realize, oh, they were just using me because I was important. Or, you know, because they saw me as important. I don't want that to sound like bleh, but yeah, I think YouTube has just made me much more cautious and just aware of the company I surround myself with. But at the same time, I think that's a good thing to ultimately learn, because now I can 100% assure you that the people who I keep close to me like me for me, and I don't know, it's just nice. Question: when you say ask me anything, why do you not answer anyone? Well, there were 18,000 comments. Baby Cow asking why she leave me for another man. Baby Cow, you need to stop being a baby bitch and do your own thing. I'm not talking about finding another girl. I am saying you need to find you. If you're going to try to find an emotional rebound, you're only going to hurt yourself and someone else. That's just collateral damage. You just healing yourself. Just take a moment to yourself, find a hobby you want, and just focus on you. How do I stop being a failure? By succeeding, dumbass. When are you going to stop making YouTube? And he means this in a nice way. I see what he's saying. That's a good question, because I like endings. I like how every story has an ending, and eventually Alpharad will have an ending. When is that going to be? I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be one of those things where 20 years from now the channel is dying and I can't sustain it, so I'm going to have to stop making videos. I think it's just going to be, I'm going to wake up one morning, I'm going to have this feeling, and then in a few weeks or months I'm going to process it and realize it's time for the next chapter. And I don't know when this will happen, who knows if it will ever happen. But I would just like to say that I like endings, and one day this channel will realistically reach an ending. And on one hand, it's going to be a very hard process to leave everything behind, but I know whenever I'm in that state of mind where I'm ready to leave, I'm just going to be excited for whatever's next. What's the biggest thing you want to achieve in 2020? Happiness, and I think I did a good job of that. I know that sounds like super Hallmark card cliche. I spent like 5-ish years just grinding content with nothing else, and now I'm starting to focus on things outside of YouTube, and God, I've just been happy. I know someone did this, but Megalovania. Oh God, Alpharad, I saw this late. Are you still accepting questions? Well, I will accept one more question. I will accept 0 more questions.